challenge. Hat trick to start off, I guess you can call it a new season.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun out there. It was very exciting to play in.
What's it like to, a bunch of guys that you hardly know, is it like an all-star format?
Basically, after the meetings we've had in the last few weeks, everyone's gotten to know one another pretty well, so everyone's pretty familiar.
How are the lungs right now? A lot of these guys haven't been working out that much, and then you have to do a lot of skating in this type of a format.
I think it doesn't matter what you do off the ice. Anytime you skate, it's going to be very tiring. We're trying to keep our shifts real short and try and keep the intensity up.
You need a win here. A playoff spot, perhaps even get into the championship match, but Ontario already a loss already.
Well, they're going to be hungry, no doubt. As the game wears on, a lot of pride enters into these things.
All right, Trevor Linden with us. We'll get upstairs now to Dan and Greg with the third game in the 4-on-4 challenge, Ontario and Western Canada.
Thank you, Rod. And as Rod mentioned, Ontario's got to win this game if they have any hope of getting into the championship game. Curtis Joseph played well in the first game, only gave up 2 goals.
Yes, he did. I'm sure he's aware that Fuhr played well, too. And you know what? It's a little bit of a challenge, too. Goalies against goalies. You don't want to get shown up by the guy at the other end. And especially everybody loves Grant Fuhr when you're playing against him. You respect him, so hey.
Ontario hoping for a little history on their side. Paul Henderson is their head coach, but Western Canada by no means overmatched in the coaching department, Greg.
Well, that's for sure. That's for sure. Great story about Gordie. He showed them all the puck. He said, hey, guys, remember this? Gordie Howe always has a great sense of humor.
Ron Hogarth is back to referee this third and final game of this evening's program. And on the draw, Kirk Muller for Ontario in white. And Russ Courtnall for Western Canada in yellow. And just as they began the first game, Western Canada starts with the Courtnalls flying into opposition territory.
A little different, though. Both Ontario defense were back.
Now Joseph has to play it. Ontario 0-1, Western Canada 1-0. Each team plays 3 games. You play every other team, and then the bottom 2 play for third place. The top 2 play in the championship game. So Ontario's got to win this one. Courtnall too far for Bodger. A 20-minute straight time period.
And I expect a very tight game. We'll see what happens here, if that's possible on 4-on-4.
Muller holds it, shoots it, misses wide on the stick side of Fuhr. The Ontario-Quebec game was much tighter checking than the Western Canada-USA. Wesley into the corner. Now it'll bounce out to center ice.
So far, both teams have had at least 1 defenseman back, and most of the time, 2.
And Ontario sitting in their dressing room watching the middle game. Western Canada's played twice now in under an hour. Andreychuk with some great moves. Puck is stolen, and Coffey has it.
Again, you want to counter with speed.
There's some speed in Paul Kariya with Ray Ferraro and Mark Recchi. Kariya. Coffey got a stick on it. Ontario in white with Dave Andreychuk. Western Canada in yellow. Andreychuk. The rebound is loose, and Fuhr knocks it behind his own net.
Now, loose play by Fuhr. The boards are very quick, and sometimes you have to be ready for the puck to bounce right off them in front.
Only 12 skaters plus a goalie, 4 on the ice at a time, in addition to the goalie, as Ontario comes close again. So everybody's getting a lot of ice time. And as we've seen down at ice level, everybody's huffing and puffing, but they're having a good time out there. Murphy chops at it. Linden has it. Had a hat trick in Western Canada's win over the United States. James Patrick off for Linden with Sakic. Linden tried to thread the needle. Norm McIver knocked it away.
Good play by McIver.
Verbeek with some speed. Verbeek coming to the net. Lindros is there as well. No shot, though.
You're going to see Ontario do that a lot, the way their forwards play. They're going to drive to the goal. Both Verbeek and Lindros do that well.
Offside at the Ontario blue line. No face-off. Ontario gets the puck because Western Canada was offside, and away they go. Verbeek and Lindros were very effective in Ontario's first game against Quebec. And Lindros and Claude Lemieux exchanged some pleasantries down in the corner a couple of times as well.
Yes, they did.
Scott Stevens to Lindros. He has scored the only goal for Ontario thus far. Ontario comes close. Again, though, they can't hit the net. Verbeek was in there. And now back come the Courtnalls. Jeff. Joseph the save, and Lindros back checking may have saved the goal.
What a great defensive play by Lindros on Niedermayer to tie up his stick so he couldn't get the rebound.
And one thing I'm impressed with is that these guys while maybe not skating quite as hard defensively as offensively, it's pretty close.
I don't know about that. These two teams have been.
Arnott. Last one wide. Blake stripped by Bodger, and Russ Courtnall's away with Jeff. Russ back for Jeff, and Coffey gets back defensively to break this one up. Now Kirk Muller for Coffey. Expect a lot offensively from Coffey with his skating ability. Kariya off for Recchi. Back for Kariya. Look at these two go. Kariya put it off the inside of Joseph's pad and just missed. Now Ferraro whistles one. Glen Wesley keeps it in. For Kariya. Joseph another save, this time off Recchi. This is Western Canada's smallest unit.
They're effective.
There's Kariya with a steal. Will he bring it in front? Ferraro. Great save by Joseph. All four goalies have played very well tonight.
I expect a real matchup here between Joseph and Fuhr. It'll be fun to watch.
Now Kariya again. Back for Wesley, and another save by Joseph.
Watch how long Kariya holds on to the puck. A few times that sequence, he really outweighted everybody and almost got Joseph on it as well. Great players will do that.
And for a player as young as he is, this is heady competition. For anybody, this is heady competition. Kariya's holding up.
Gilmour's picked his game up a little bit this time. A little better than the first game.
He's
Again, those competitive juices.
Well, if anybody's going to get competitive, it'll be Doug Gilmour.
You got that one right.
We're past the 5-minute mark in a scoreless game between Ontario and Western Canada. Brendan Shanahan keeps it in, almost found Gilmour. Now Scott Stevens, back pass, and Sakic and Linden are away again. Sakic, can Stevens catch him? Shanahan's back as well, preventing Sakic from getting a good shot away on Joseph. Sidor can't keep it in. Now James Patrick loses it. Doug Gilmour goes to the bench.
As expected, no goals so far. Tight checking.
2-1 Quebec over Ontario in the first game. 7-2 Western Canada over the United States in the second. Linden. Loose in front. Rob Blake clears it to Pat Verbeek. With Andreychuk. Paul Henderson changing his lines around now a little bit for Ontario. Offside is Pat Verbeek. And we'll have a stoppage in play. We're scoreless, almost 6 minutes in.
Ontario, anything said between games there, Coach?
We need to score more than these fellas. Well, they shot their wad the last game, so we're going to be in good shape.
I noticed a little bit of a hunger on this bench here.
I think so. I think so. We had a lot of young guys, and so they're ready.
All right, Paul Henderson. Dan?
Ontario with just one goal now in 26 minutes of play. Ontario in white, Western Canada in yellow.
They don't need to open it up yet. They want to just keep it like this for a while and try and sneak a goal late in the game. Or two.
Penalties will be called but not served. They'll be stored up and you'll get penalty shots at the end of the game. If the other team committed a penalty or two during the game. We've had one minor penalty called so far tonight. Ron Hogarth calling that in the first game. Russ Courtnall, last man back, gets by Andreychuk, gets by Lindros.
Courtnall's great speed. He'll be flying all over the ice.
Andreychuk taken down, a little bit slow getting up as Jeff Courtnall has it. You sure there are only two Courtnalls on the ice? They seem like they're out there all the time for Western Canada.
I think they've played together a lot more than they're letting on.
Pass off the stick of McIver, too far. And back for Mark Recchi. Here's the small, speedy unit for Western Canada. Kariya, Recchi. In front for Ferraro. And Lindros back the other way for Ontario. You feel that the mood of this game changes whenever Eric Lindros is on the ice, even though this is not an overly physical game.
When he has the puck, I mean, how do you get it off him? He is so big and strong on the puck. I don't know how you're supposed to get the puck off him in that situation.
This game is scoreless, but it cannot end in a tie. If it's tied at the end of regulation or the penalty shootout, then a sudden death shootout will take place. Now Lindros has some room. Muller is with him.
There's the locomotive.
Looks in front for Muller. Ferraro is back behind his own net. For Recchi. Recchi behind his back and up to center ice. Nice play. Joe Sakic. Nice play. Lindros is back. Sakic was all alone.
And they were on a change. That's why Sakic really couldn't do much with that play.
8 minutes in. Now Jason Arnott. The youngster getting a lot of ice time. Tried to get by Daryl Sador. Sador took the man nicely. Arnott behind the net. Looks for Shanahan. Arnott still pounding away at it. Now looks back for Blake. Tips it off to Coffey. Shanahan's in front. It's tipped. They score. And Grant Fuhr never saw it.
Oh, and Shanahan parks himself right in front of the goal, and he does it so well. Coffey read that. All he wanted to do was get the puck on goal. Look where Shanahan is, right in front of Fuhr. And he may get a stick on it as well, but Fuhr never saw the puck. Coffey with a good shot to put it on net. Doesn't have to be hard, although maybe that hit a player. It went off. Somebody went towards the net. However, hey, they all count.
1-0 Ontario. Definitely hit a Western Canada player up near the blue line. Looked like Shanahan almost was trying to get out of the way of it, just allow it into the net. That's what happened. 1-0 Ontario. Sakic's back in, and it's a tie game. Just like that. Western Canada has tied it up.
Well, I think Sakic's an underrated player sometimes. I mean, look at the way he goes in. All of a sudden finds the far post, and maybe not a hard shot, but a very, very accurate shot that Joe Sakic has. Just threads the needle on that one, and Joseph really doesn't have a chance. Anytime you hit the post like that and go in, very difficult for a goalie to make the save.
The clock continues to run. It's 1-1 now, and a very important game for Ontario. They lost their first game to Quebec. Ron Hogarth drops the puck, and back comes Russ Courtnall. Now Norm McIver for Ontario. Gives it away to Jeff, to Russ. Again, the Courtnalls are all over the ice. That pass is picked off by Arnott. He's been on the ice a lot. Shanahan. Arnott. The goal is credited to Paul Coffey, so it went through after the initial deflection up near the blue line without Shanahan getting a stick on it. Arnott and Doug Gilmour. Back for Arnott. He's tied up and taken down, and Ron Hogarth's calling a penalty on Scott Niedermayer of Western Canada.
That was a good call by Hogarth. That was a chance to score. 27 interference. We all heard it. Niedermayer gets the gate.
Puck's back in play, so Ontario.
Right there, down Niedermayer, pulls him down. That's a penalty, and that may be important.
Ontario will get a penalty shot at the end of the game. Unless they take a penalty, and that'll even things up. But that could be a very big play. Kariya off for Ferraro. Coming in late is Wesley. Now Kariya watched by Blake. Great pass back to the blue line to Recchi. This unit working very well together. Ferraro tips it just wide. And with 4-on-4, we see a difference. Whereas most of the time in North American hockey, your forward line is matched up and your defenseman may be a separate unit. We're seeing units of 4 here, defensemen and forwards playing as a group of 4.
You want some continuity. These players haven't played very much together. You want to try and develop that if you can. But again, you don't want to give the puck away unless you have a good chance to score. Puck possession. Watch what Stevens does here. He waits, looks for an open man.
Found a big one, and Andreychuk, who gets a quick shot away. The rebound is loose, and Verbeek couldn't tap it in. Coffey can't get it through. Linden's broken his stick. Can Ontario keep it in and get a chance as Linden heads to the bench? 2 men in front. Off the goalpost. No goal. Verbeek pounded it off the post. Still 1-1.
Verbeek was snake bit on that. Right off the post. Had Fuhr beat. Didn't go in. He could have gone for a cup of coffee and a hot dog and still had time to put a shot on goal.
Here's Andreychuk. Still part of that stick on the ice. Here closes the pads. Right out in front is Murphy. Pass doesn't find him. And James Patrick will try to relieve the pressure. Can't. Muller. And he missed Andreychuk. Ontario coming on now. Quickly. Muller with Coffey. Muller. Saved by Fuhr. Russ Courtnall for Western Canada. Long pass up the middle of the ice. James Patrick for Jeff Courtnall for Russ Courtnall. In too deep. Well, for guys who haven't played together since junior, I'm sure they get the odds skated during the summertime.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Now Lindros is free. Keeps himself onside. Muller's in front. Has to chase it behind the net. Now McIver to the front of the net. Ontario needs to win this game. It's 1-1. Weak shot. Here the glove save. They'll play it. 7 minutes to go in a tie game. Ferraro's back on the ice. Joseph leaves it for Scott Stevens. Up to Eric Lindros. The two freight trains on the same team together in this tournament. Working nicely. Stevens. Shanahan almost had his first goal of this tournament.
3. You forgot about Shanahan, too.
That's right.
And there's a hit for Lindros. Here we go.
Now, Doug Bodger takes a run at Lindros after Lindros dropped Niedermeyer to the ice. Getting a little bit more physical. 6.5 minutes left in a 1-1 tie.
This is a no-hitter. Scott Niedermeyer in the corner. Lindros and Niedermeyer in a collision. Brendan Shanahan involved with Bodger, and then Lindros adding to the sandwich there. Standings after the 2 games that have been played: Western Canada and Quebec 1-0, United States, who will play 2 games tomorrow, and Ontario 0-1. Key game here, and who knows, we might be in for a shootout. Dan and Greg.
Thank you, Rod. I should have known better than to think someone would take a run at Eric Lindros. It was a Shanahan-Lindros sandwich, and Doug Bodger got in the middle of it. 1-1 tie.
He's been taking economics courses. I think he had Niedermeyer's number on that one.
Gilmour chasing Bodger. This is Joe Sakic, one of the most effective players in the tournament so far. Back for Rob Blake. With Jason Arnott. Blake and Niedermeyer. Arnott behind the net. Looks for Murphy. Finds him. Verbeek's on the ice now. Tipped to the corner.
Look at how Verbeek covered up for Blake. Kariya's been doing a good job of that, covering up for the defensemen when they go in.
Trevor Linden back with Sakic. 2-on-3. Verbeek get it out. Tipped away, but now Coffey's got a full head of steam.
We'll catch him.
Arnott with a big shot on a nice feed from Coffey.
Do you think Grant Fuhr could read Coffey on that play? What if they played together?
Not in any big games or anything.
No, not at all.
Wesley into the corner. Remember, 1 penalty has been assessed against Western Canada, so Ontario has a penalty shot coming to them at the end of this game. And a big play there by McIver. Saved a chance and got it ahead to Verbeek. Save Fuhr, and the rebound rolled right through Verbeek's legs.
Fuhr has the wall up, a 4x6 behind him, I think. Nobody can beat him.
13-7, the shots favor Ontario. Verbeek's back looking for more. McIver's on his backhand, now turns it around, had Andreychuk open, but couldn't get the puck to him. Back for Jeff Courtnall. McIver playing well. Andreychuk. Muller's hustling into the play. Andreychuk waited too long, and a great play by Ray Ferraro, back playing a little defense.
2 forwards playing defense on that one. Recchi was the other defenseman. Surprised that Ontario didn't score.
4:15 to go. Kariya using that speed. Now Blake. For Muller, bit of a pick thrown by Lindros.
Bit of a pick.
Stevens off the goalpost. 245 pounds. This is starting to pick up, and Eric Lindros is the big reason for it.
And a big hack by Stevens as well on Kariya.
James Patrick save Joseph. Drop the puck and keep it going.
Looks like Scott is showing Kariya a little bit of stick work. He's going to see a lot of that.
Eric Lindros right in the center of the action with Lindros, Stevens, and Shanahan. That's him with the puck. Ontario has the bulk of the bulk out there on the ice. And Western Canada's not a small team. Here's Trevor Linden. For Sador. Great glove save, Curtis Joseph.
Does it get any better than that, fans?
Fuhr at the other end. 1-1 tie. Western Canada breaking so smoothly as they have in both their games. Sakic bothered by Coffey. Now Larry Murphy. He's been on the ice for some big goals in his international hockey career. Here he is, right in alone. Fuhr the save. The rebound is there, and Shanahan couldn't tuck it in. Now Sakic. The players are definitely finding their legs. This is the second game for each of these teams.
I mean, all the players are in great shape. They all keep themselves so fit in the 90s. They're not going to have a problem with a little bit of a layoff, I don't think. You can see the way they're playing, they're not.
Brendan Shanahan from Mimico, Ontario. Back pass for Lindros, stolen away. And here comes Russ Courtnall with Jeff and Glen Wesley. Drop pass, Wesley. Joseph may have gotten a piece of it. Now pass just too far for Doug Gilmour. Been pretty quiet in the first 2 games. Gilmour. For Blake, just over 2 minutes to go. If it ends in a tie, Ontario gets a penalty shot because of Scott Niedermayer's penalty earlier in this game.
Guess who the first man is on the roster? Mr. Lindros.
Lindros against Fuhr. Courtnall. Glove save, Joseph. Still got 1 minute and 45 to go. The clock will stop only if a goal is scored in the final minute.
When Joseph has that glove hand going, he's tough to beat. He likes to give it to players and then take it away from them.
Blake. When we saw Joseph before the games, he gets those narrow eyes and that intense look on his face, and he's come to play. Look at Kariya. Catching up to Ferraro, and Kariya missed wide on the far side. Now Doug Gilmour with Jason Arnott. 2-on-1. Gilmour. Arnott scores! 2-1 Ontario. A big goal for the youngster, Jason Arnott.
Well, vintage Gilmour to a great young player in Arnott. Look at this pass stick to stick, and how about this reach? Great reach by Arnott to beat Fuhr. Ah, beautiful, beautiful goal.
And now into the final minute. Remember, Ontario still gets the penalty shot even if they win the game because it may have an effect on tiebreakers later on. But Ontario in good position to even up their record at 1-1.
That's why tall, lanky centermen are so valuable. They can do so many things like that with their reach.
Jason Arnott gives Ontario the lead. Sakic is back. Joseph had to be sharp. The puck is loose. And Coffey, who has played very well defensively until this particular play, when he gives it away and Russ Courtnall takes a shot, Fuhr's to the bench. Western Canada has an extra attacker out there. Verbeek has an empty net, scores. That'll do it as Ontario moves out to a 3-1 lead with 33 seconds left. Pat Verbeek into the empty net.
Oh, he made no mistake either. He wound right up, and everybody sort of got out of the way, and I don't blame them. Fuhr goes back to his net. Verbeek, he can shoot it.
That's an important goal.
Oh, yes.
Ontario, they lost by 1 in the first game. Now they're leading by 2. They still have a penalty shot. You want to do everything you can in case everybody ends up tied for a playoff spot.
Two very even teams playing a very similar style, a checking thing. Whoever had the last chance.
After tonight and tomorrow night's round robin, the bottom 2 teams will play for 3rd place in the consolation final, as it were. The top 2 will play for the championship.
Both teams playing very responsible in their own end. 1 defenseman or 2 back all the time and waiting for the breaks. This time Ontario got them.
One last rush for Western Canada. Russ Courtnall will blast it. The rebound.